Boy, things are going to look really wacky as we head into 2025, and we're going to be entering a completely new realm, a completely new reality, and we are at the beginnings of the foothold of that reality anchoring into this space at this moment. When we talk about a multidimensional reality, it's a very difficult concept for the human brain to comprehend. The human brain wants to go back to the old 3D way of living, which is a survival mode, fight or flight, right? It's living through the five senses and living through Newtonian physics, space and time and distance and those types of concepts, right? Those types of concepts are really becoming outdated. In fact, in order for you to start to experience the true you, the real you, the multidimensional you, you need to loosen your grip on those old, outdated concepts. Now, that can be very challenging because we are so reliant on our five senses, we tend to ignore what our intuition is bringing to us, or when it's speaking through us, right? Or your higher self, when your higher self is speaking through you, or your star guides, your spirit guides are trying to get in touch with you. These messages, they tend to get filtered out and blocked because we are so focused on this reality that is anchored in 3D. It's a time-space reality, right? So as that starts to loosen its grip, the human brain has a really challenging time or a really hard time allowing multi-dimensional experiences to start to come through because they are not linear, right? We're always looking to the past to create an expectation to define what the future is going to look like. It's on a very linear path. And when we start leaning into multidimensionality, the linear path tends to start to dissolve. And again, the human mind, the human brain, and the ego just has a hard time letting go of that old and embracing the new. And part of the reason is because it just has no idea what being a multidimensional being looks like, right? We have these limiting beliefs that we have to navigate through space, through time, right? One step after the next, one thing after the next, right? It takes time to do that. And as we do that, we move through space. It's like we get on an airplane, right? And we fly to another city. We are taking time or spending time actually moving through space. That is a linear physical existence, but multidimensional experiences are very, very different. When you start to release the ties to those 3D physics, those physical experiences, you start to be able to open up to realms or dimensional fields that were previously unseen. Not that they weren't there, they were there, but you weren't able to perceive them because you were so fixed in the old paradigms. Now, as we're going through this expansion, many of you are undoubtedly trying to open up to be able to grab or grasp these new concepts, and you're starting to experience some of these multidimensional experiences, and they're getting your attention, and maybe you're scratching your head saying, well, that's kind of weird. How did that happen? Synchronicities are a great example of that, right? You'll hear a song on the radio, there'll be some lyric, it triggers something within you, and maybe a memory or an idea or a knowing comes forward, or maybe you'll see a number on a license plate, right? And it triggers something within you. These are multidimensional experiences that are starting to land in this reality to shake up the old paradigm or the old way of existing. Now, that's just the first step. And I know many of you have been already experiencing that. But as we continue to do this and expand, you are going to start to be able to perceive things that your mind, maybe as little as a few years ago, could not begin to comprehend. You may start seeing energy and auras and craft in the sky. You may start having visitations. It could be deceased loved ones. It could be your ET guides. So your higher self, all of this energy is starting to come online as your DNA starts to activate from this amazing ascension journey. All the high frequency energy we're receiving, right? It's bringing all of that online. So you're starting to have in your experience these multidimensional types of events, and they can easily go unnoticed because the brain is looking for the linear type of stuff. So you have to continuously remind yourself to get present and to allow the new to come through. Even when something happens and you're scratching your head, you're like, no, I don't believe what just occurred. That had to be my eyes playing tricks on me. I couldn't have seen someone standing there. There's nobody there. Those types of situations you need to get present with and acknowledge and agree that energy can start to manifest in those types of ways, right? That is inconsistent with the 3D time, space, physical reality. This type of energy is all around you. It's always been there. But again, because of this expansion, we are now starting to allow for those to come through. So if you're finding that you've been really stuck, you're really trying to open up more to the multidimensional you, and you just can't do it. You are just simply in a state of resistance, and you've got limiting beliefs that are keeping you anchored into the old way of doing it. So forget about what it takes to be able to allow these experiences to come forward. Just simply get into a space of allowing, clear your mind, breathe into the body, slow your heart rate down, get into some sort of heart-brain coherence, right? Using your breath to do that, and release all of those ideas or expectations that maybe your ego has as to how this is supposed to unfold. When you can start to do that, you are setting the stage to allow for the unknown to come forward. All of the new is going to start to manifest as unknown. And here's the thing. Maybe you have an experience. Maybe you experience a synchronicity and you feel it and you're like, okay, that is a message. Stop right there. Don't try to discern what the message is. Your mind will try to bring it back down into a 3D reality, into linear time, and try to figure it out. Just acknowledge the fact that you connected, that you were aware of a multidimensional synchronicity, an experience, and leave it at that. As you continue to do that and get back center and allow for this multidimensionalness to come forward in ways that you couldn't even have anticipated, because now you're holding the space for it. Well, however it comes, you'll start to be able to have those experiences at a much faster pace, at a much faster clip, because the old you will not be limiting them based on what you've read, what other people have said, what you've heard about as you were growing up, as to how these things are supposed to unfold. We need to detach from a linear way of thinking, a 3D way of thinking, a 3D way of perceiving through only the five senses, to allow for the multidimensional you to start to come forward. All of that energy is trying to anchor itself into your body. You need to create the space in the body. We do that by breathing into the heart, breathe into the root chakra, breathe into the lower chakras, right? So that you could get your energy moving up into the heart space. Once it hits the heart space, once it hits the heart, that's the multidimensional portal. Then it shoots up through your crown and it comes out as a completely new reality, a multidimensional reality. If you're finding that you're stuck in the 3D, you're stuck in your lower chakras. The lower chakras represent the 3D reality, okay? So you're not feeling worthy. You're not feeling confident. You're not feeling loved. You're not feeling safe. That is keeping you in a 3D reality. So therefore, you're not going to be able to perceive the multidimensional you. When you could get into the lower chakras and get the energy moving, and we could do this with breath work, we start to move the energy up into the heart, and all of a sudden, you start to experience compassion, love, joy, peace, abundance. All of these amazing emotions start to come into your experience. That opens you up. It pulls you up out of that linear time-space reality and into a multi-dimensional reality where all of these amazing experiences now start to come forward, and you're able to perceive it because that energy has been freed up from the lower chakras and moved you from a 3D reality up into a fourth and fifth dimensional reality, and now you're able to perceive it. It is so exciting. So as you move into 2025, I want you to let go of expectations. Observe your mind. Where is it trying to keep you small? How does it expect all of this newness, the new earth, to unfold, right? These are thoughts that come forward. And if you get too embroiled in those thoughts, you will keep anchoring yourself in a reality that is dictated by time and space, a Newtonian physics type of reality. We want to go quantum. We want to get the energy up into the heart space, out of that 3D reality, the lower chakras, and up here so it could just shoot up and spill out in this beautiful torque field of new earth. So in order to do that, release those ties that are anchoring you to old ways of being, old ways of thinking, limited ways of being and thinking, lower frequency timelines. Allow yourself to be available of however your multidimensional experiences are going to manifest for you with any preconceived idea as to what those would look like. Those preconceived ideas are very limiting. Just get centered, get present, focus inward, be aware of how you feel, clear the emotional blockages using your breath, meditate, ground, find stability. Your body will relax into that and it will feel at peace. And that will free up energy and it will shoot up your central channel and your reality will start to change. It's going to not look like how you think. Everybody experiences it in their own way, but I want to remind you that it is available to you now. The only thing that is preventing you from perceiving a new earth is you. It's the old you, it's the limiting beliefs, it's the traumas that you still hold in your body, that are still held in your nervous system, that are keeping you anchored to a 3D timeline. When you can make that commitment, set that intention to shift that, you will start to allow new earth to come through.